The Argument from Demonology, a series in Analytical Apologetics by Valerie Lynn Stevens. Part 3. In Continuum, the argument from scientific determinism posits that all phenomena in nature, and they would argue in human nature, derives from purely materialistic and naturalistic and psychosocial causes. As another rationalizing creature, I can certainly appreciate the appeal of this worldview. After all, it stands to reason that everything contained within our earth, and even our universe, could merely be undergoing continual unitary transformations of flux and variation. The laws of thermodynamics and general physics, right? Yet, upon closer inspection, questions naturally arise. The questions that are sparked include things like, yes, but where did all of these elements originate from? Of course, all thinkers throughout human history have explored these realms of cosmology in each their own ways. They have all had to come to terms with the impasse of inconclusivity as well. At best, intellectual integrity forces those who value it to concede to the glaring, obvious, and Socrates-approved conclusion that all we know is that we know nothing. Or to put a little bit of a spin on it, all that we can currently conclude is that we are still in the elementary stage of our psychospiritual and epistemological development as a species. Although some would argue that it's fair to advance us onto at least the intermediary stage. Fair enough. I mean, we have made some strides in the scientific and technological arenas. The socio-political and psychospiritual realms are another embarrassing study in failing marks, however. All in all, what we can conclude is that even when we think we know, and what we think we know must be regarded with cautious optimism and continual humility and open-mindedness. Thus, it is fair to say that Agnosticism wins by a TKO in the pugilistic mind game of Atheism versus Theism. Moreover, how does this all tie into my premise that the existence, omnipresence of a higher deity can be deduced from antithetical phenomena? It supports it within the negative space of the secular temple, wherein are placed, each according to their metaphysical dictates, Pascalian wagers of calculated risk-benefit analyses. That is to say, the projected risk that one is taking by embracing a belief in the so-called immaterial is nowhere near as potentially catastrophic as that risk exercised in the face of abject atheism and/or apostasy. Hence, many could scoff at this proposal as merely another feeble grasp at apologetic reconciliation. Again, fair enough. But evidence of absence definitely should never preclude the conclusion that there is an absence of any evidence. This, in and of itself, is an established motto of the scientific community. In fact, furthermore, those who are leaning towards strict atheism may also be quick to remind believers of the scientific principle of Occam's razor. Occam's razor absolutely should be applied in the case of atheism versus deism. Since the principle adheres to assuming no more than is necessary, it is perfectly in line with the principle of Occam's razor to streamline the vast complexity and diversity which one sees in the natural world and even in the inorganic realms as possessing an ontologically monistic origin. This, to all reasoning beings, is perfectly cogent and sound rather than reductionistic. Reductionism seeks to limit, synthesis seeks to consolidate. In all fairness, this is also an a priori or more conceptual stance, or a deductive rather than an inductive observation, but is an equally potentiated one nevertheless. After all, the things that we experience in the so-called material world right now were born from the chrysalis of an idea as well. Noumena can become phenomena, as we have already witnessed in many forms and variations. In finale, whether or not we mere mortals, with our grossly finite epistemological constraints, will ever be able to prove the existence of God, misses the mark of the mystery and challenge of faith altogether. God is spirit. The metaphysical will never be able to be conclusively researched or studied in a physical laboratory. But the same could be said, not long ago, of the electron, or the lymphocytes, hopefully copiously circulating throughout our lymphatic systems as we speak. Perhaps someday, should a benevolent, holy Creator decide that we have earned a peek further into the esoteric and into the quantum void, we shall be able to answer some of these inquiries with more convincing conviction to the atheistic hangers-on. In the meantime, we shall continue our humble and sincere exploration into more apologetics mindscapes. Next up, Satan, Legion, Belial, Abaddon, and other assorted abysmal characters in the ultimate campaign against God and man, rivaling any invention of Gygax and artisan.